This is Peter Dunne.
Hi.
This is Larry Hertzog, and I'm Bruce Greenwood.
Yeah, that works.
Together, we did this series called Nowhere Man about 10 years ago, it turns out. We were talking about the wardrobe.
Yeah.
Or weren't we?
What would you like to say about that?
So unforgiving.
It's probably the best wardrobe I've ever had, because it just matches what I generally wear at home. Not to say that that's inherently good or anything, it just matches my taste, which is absent for the most part.
I remember, casting you seemed to be easy. The shrimp roll guy in this scene, who goes dogging you. Do you remember that?
He looked for weeks.
Well, actually,
he wasn't really an actor, was he?
I think he was, but the poor guy only had to come in and read one line. Whoever was reading for that role, and this guy came in and blew the one line. And it was so funny, and it made an impression.
So you hired him?
We hired him.
Yeah.
I mean,
the guy comes in, does one line, blows it, and he gets the gig.
Yeah.
How do you think that makes me feel?
His line was one word. It was sushi.
You know?
Yeah, sushi.
Wow.
And I think
Two syllables, though.
Yeah.
And here we are at Chasen's before.
Yeah, this was
Chasen's while it was still Chasen's, right?
Well, it was closed, I think, but it was
closed.
Before they knocked it down.
Before they put in the grocery store.
Right. They let us come in.
And I was so grateful at that time that you had the character smoke, right?
Right.
I thought,
Yes.
And then you gave me a hard
I
time.
have
I'm
to
not
smoke.
smoking
Hey,
anymore.
look, after doing the whole pilot, you realize I don't want to play a guy that smokes, because you got to smoke butt after butt after butt. And you end up smoking 5 packs a day.
It becomes about the cigarette suddenly in the scene.
Well, also you get sick. When I had to smoke for a flashback,
Right.
whatever it was, 8 months later, I went out and hurled.
But that's okay, because I wasn't there. You were in Portland, I was in Los
Yeah,
Angeles.
so it didn't matter.
If you
Of course,
hurl
you
off
don't-
camera, I don't care.
Yeah, you don't really care. Yeah, you just care that I come back to camera on time.
Now, it's interesting, a few little anecdotes in this. First of all, some people notice, some people don't, but after your erasure, after you go to the men's room and come back, the place is lit entirely differently. The music that's playing on the piano in the background recurs throughout the pilot, especially towards the end. And
Your father was miserable.
And someone laughing.
in that farm. You okay?
so this is the last she's ever going to be nice to you, clearly.
I'm okay. Well, the last time I can ever quite
Trust her.
Trust her, yeah. Yeah.
And you're coming up to
Going to have a smoke in the can.
Yeah, see, the lighting here is sort of misty and
Who's the DP?
thirsty. On this, it was
On this
Izzy. What was it? Mankovsky. Isidore Mankovsky. Remember the little petite guy with big shaggy white toque?
And
Oh yeah,
a handlebar mustache.
Yeah.
And he was fast as a bullet. That guy could put 2 flashlights
That's
up and
right.
have the scene lit. I thought he did a great job. We had the light was so low that some of the scenes had some real narrow depth of focus.
Really?
But yeah, we had that whole thing with Bruce and Ted. When
Oh,
Bruce
yeah.
is in bed, that scene had some soft stuff that
I can't believe you remember all this stuff. I just look at it and I go, just such bad acting, You know what I mean? It's very difficult to watch and not go, Mamma mia, what are you doing?
But would you do that with anything, or are you going to watch all your stuff 10 years later and say, "Oh, I'm better now," or it's
Yeah, generally I do. Okay. When I watch something that's old, I say to myself, I must be better now.
So here's Steve.
You must be better.
I must be better now. I can't be this bad now. But
Okay, well, we keep saying you're good, so
yeah, well,
maybe-
I'll shut up and let you guys talk.
She's not at our table. I'm sorry, sir. I really don't know who you're talking about. Sir, what are you kidding? We were just.
I had no idea when we were shooting this.
These two lamps here,
I mean,
there's
a year in Portland, never seeing the sun, and
Mr. and Mrs. Charnier
just
said that booth reserved.
going to work at 6 a.m. on a Monday and coming home at 7 a.m. on a Saturday.
That's right.
Sleeping all of Saturday.
That's right.
Saying hello to your wife on Sunday for Sunday breakfast, and then going back to the next week's script.
It was the worst year for rain. 100-year rain. Do you remember the day that
Until this year, here.
it was all icy up there? And
the ice storm.
And you walked into town with your golf shoes?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
it's
that was the only way you could
fantastic.
walk around town was having golf shoes.
Yeah, I remember walking across this field where every blade of grass was as big as my finger and crunched like broken crystal when you walk across. Fantastic. I love
Great.
that
It was a
town.
nowhere man town.
The crumpets and scones.
Hey?
It was a nowhere man town.
It was kind of, yeah. Became that way.
Yeah, it's actually, when I see this, it is very nostalgic of Chasen's, which is now what is it? What's the name? What's the name?
Is it a restaurant or is
No,
it?
it's a market.
Bristol Farm.
Bristol Farms, yeah. Well, this is it. It's just sort of dawned on you that
I'm
your wife
I'm
is-
not as bright as I thought I was.
right. This next shot is probably the most moving shot in the whole movie from the top of the phone booth.
Except for the very end, that crossroads. Can't believe you remember these shots.
Well,
Was this something that we carried?
The phone booth?
Yeah, we must
Yeah.
have.
Well, according to Peter, you guys even in Portland carried
had
a
it in
phone
Portland,
booth.
too.
Yeah, you always have
it was,
yeah, right.
It's the Nowhere Man phone booth.
Yeah. The flick we're doing now, we're carrying a tent for Antarctica, but what we have to put down is a massive tent, twice the size of the studio to hold it. It's nuts.
It should be said that off camera through most of this pilot, there were people smoking cigars profusely, and Toby running out trying to smoke one in between Izzy
Yeah,
lighting.
that was the cigar thing.
That
We
was
were
the
all into
cigar
him.
thing,
Yeah,
yeah.
you kind of turned me on to him. Yeah, you remember you gave me a box of cigars, and then just as I held my hands out, you took it back. Do you remember that? You know what I'm going to say, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Peter comes up and he goes, a lot of the stuff you're doing is really good, but we're finding that your mouth is hanging open a lot. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
And your tongue is kind of there, and we don't know whether you're about to speak or whether you've got a condition of some kind. So maybe close your mouth as often as you can.
Yeah.
There, see, I remembered what you told me. Oh,
Maybe you thought you were the dog Newt, with your mouth open.
this is a good sequence. This is a good trick, right? The dream I had.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing, I've never been so happy to wake up.
Oh, now I remember what happens when she turns around. Yeah.
Yep.
Go get the paper. But you know what? The only remaining question I have is, who was the other guy?
I mean, how do you? Okay, now it's a double dream, right? How do you get away with that? That's pretty. Some of the episodes are really good.
Again,
Some.
there's that thing.
some
Instead
were.
of zooming or moving the camera, the jump, jump, jump. I
There's
love
the
this
wide
location.
establishing scene
It
and the
looks so
slam in.
cool. This is in Pasadena too, but I love this location.
Yes, it is.
So
Oh yeah,
stark.
right, right. Well, this was quite early in the schedule.
Yep. You get arrested here.
Yeah, soon. I remember too in that arrest sequence which follows this. Remember we were losing light. We were really cutting it close that night.
Wasn't this quite early in the shooting schedule? I sort of vaguely remember this was one of the first bits we shot.
Yeah,
Before you know each other. And, oh yeah, right. This whole driving thing.
Just cut the crap, okay? It's about the photograph, isn't it?
Yeah, she flips you around a lot in this sequence, finally saying, okay. And it's like, relief. And then just when you think you're there, she pulls it out from under you again.
They told me that if I said anything, they'd kill you.
Who? Who are they?
I don't know, some men.
But who? Government, military,
That's
what
all
did
I
they
know.
say?
I didn't want to put you in this situation.
See, if you had the writer there, I could tell you she doesn't mean
They're
a word of it.
watching me.
Yeah.
They're watching you.
Like earpieces like these.
Bruce, close your mouth. Close your mouth.
I'm sorry, baby.
It was good advice. I'm sure.
It's interesting to me how Megan's character fascinated people so much because it was so strong what came across in this scene.
Well, they never believed her either.
Right, but people
Like, there
throughout the
was something was
series
up,
then, who is and her betrayal is so huge
Right.
in this pilot,
Right.
over the arc of the pilot, that people just hated Allison.
Yeah.
for being- I mean, it's such.
It ruined her career.
It's.
She never
I'm
worked.
glad you'll be talking
Didn't
to her
she-
without me around.
She went on to do Millennium, right? Remember when
Yes,
she got the
in
call?
Vancouver.
And remember when she got the call, actually, we were shooting in, we were already shooting the series, but she was backlit behind this big sheet that they'd set up for a makeup thing, and I saw a shadow of her getting the news that she'd got the show.
Right, and it's all in silhouette.
Yeah, all in silhouette.
Cool.
It was
Please, this man hid
Cartwheels.
yeah, just real, huge puppet show joy, right? It was fantastic.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't talk to me. Don't come to my house.
But you just...
What did you expect me to say? You're sick. You need help.
She's lying.
So we're going to, I think from here, we're going to
Highland.
Callaway
This woman is my wife.
Mental Institution, which ended up being, that was on Highland, and that was the foreign, American Legion?
Yep.
American Legion. But I remember when Toby and I talking about what should this mental institution look like. Should we go the full Marat Sade route, or should we make it modern?
This is great.
Yeah, I remember we found this angel lying around at the location. And it was Toby who said,
Really?
let's hang that up.
Oh, and this cat. What's this guy's name?
Jay.
Jay
Underwood.
Jay Underwood. Man.
Something like that, am I right?
Underwood. I don't know. I think I've actually got his name in my little electronic thing.
Well, the story
He's a very cool guy.
story about Jay was this part of Eddie was the one we couldn't cast. We had you, we had Megan, we had we had all the things you thought would kill you to cast. We couldn't find this guy. And on the last day, there was a guy who read that I finally liked. But Toby felt I was grasping at straws, and maybe I was. I don't think so. But Jay came in, and he gave a very first nondescript read. It did nothing for us. But like many people, actors, they come in, and you can see they're not quite ready to get up and leave, but they don't know if they should because they took their shot. But we said, what's on your mind? And he said, I just didn't feel good about it. I feel like I should do something with it. I feel I should sing it, because it was never written that way. And Toby's eyes just lit up, and he said, sing it. And there it was,
Yeah.
What is going
I remember I was in the room for one take of this, and Ted was so freaky in the room that once was enough. I got to get out there.
This is very moving.
There once was a man named Tom. Tom.
Eddie. Eddie.
Tom, you used to be so calm, and then they came and took his name. Now everything is gone. It's,
Eddie.
Knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone.
As a viewer, you got to go. This whole thing's got to be in his mind. There's just not this many people can't be somehow in the know.
You have no idea what you're up against. Then tell me. Thanks. But death at your hands is a preferable alternative. How'd you get
It's nice to see all that gaffer's tape, because usually when bad guys are tied up, it's the velvet rope,
Right.
all those bad tie jobs in a chair. Like there's probably not an actor in Hollywood who hasn't been tied up in a chair at one point, right? And hasn't clubbed somebody with a candlestick.
That was all rigged, We took the jacket, a different jacket, and opened it up, cut it, and then put the tape on it. So it just slipped over his head.
Oh, really?
So it's like the fake one
Right.
piece.
So
Otherwise,
cutting
you
it
just-
out, right. Otherwise, it's a continuity nightmare with the tape.
volunteered their names?
And there you had your negatives all along. You actually stooped them bit good there.
And my mother. Your negatives.
So you pitched the
Self-fulfilling
idea. You had 2 weeks to write
Like
it.
write a script.
12 days to shoot it, and a month later.
You wrote it
you were famous.
inside of 2 weeks, though.
Probably something like that. Fortunately, there were almost no notes.
They didn't understand it.
Kill him!
So you had to smoke, or this whole ending wouldn't have worked. What are you gonna
Right.
throw a piece of parsley there or something? Like I eat
Yeah,
well, I'm a healthy guy.
I know a lot of guys who carry parsley around. It does come in handy.
I don't want to hear about it. Don't share now.
Here you go.
This dive.
This is it.
Yeah.
Bruce's dive.
And that was in the credits, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I had fun doing that dive.
Yeah, we cut this. It looks so much. I mean, it was a great explosion, but the way it was cut makes it look kind of. It was great. But you see how different this look is? It's colorful, it's saturated
Yeah.
compared to. So. And here comes the song again from what the guy was playing. Oh, where LaVie and Rose came from, but it ended up being effective. I remember we never got the shot of Bruce actually going up the stairs for later when he comes down, so we had to just cut.
Right.
And to give away, because I think the magic of believing things is we actually had the mother's bedroom in a separate structure
Yeah, in the
that was on
garage.
this property in the
That's right.
garage. And Craig, again, did an amazing job of making it look
Yeah.
like it belonged in that house.
Yeah, see, here you get a sense of what Rick does with light, too. I mean,
But this is not Rick.
This is
Who's this?
This is Izzy. again.
Izzy.
This is Izzy, okay.
Only that
Because
one
I'm just
shot.
thinking, wow, now it's Rich again.
Right, but this whole thing is richer than intentional. I think we did a little bit of that in post, too. Just cranked it up.
Well, I can't wait to see some of the other episodes that Rick lit, because I remember really liking what he did.
Yes.
Some days are better than others.
How did this happen?
She came, the mother came back in the Christmas episode.
I mean, who hired you? Who paid
At a dinner or something,
Yeah,
right?
and it's so
Yeah.
interesting because I had seen her so often in shooting the pilot, and cutting the pilot, and editing it, that when I actually saw her in the Christmas episode, I barely recognized her because she wasn't lying down with tubes in her.
Right,
She looked like a totally different person.
Mister, we can do it easy, or we can do it hard.
Yeah. Don't say anything, Bruce. Remember, you had your mouth open a lot too, so let's not talk about that.
Hey, I know, it's not, yeah.
Yeah, this was
red
Bernie
buttons.
Bernie coming in and being
Hello, I'm Father Ralph.
completely. You don't believe a word this guy says in this scene.
Sue tells me that Helen is your mother.
You're from St. Anne's.
Hello, Father.
Helen, this young man has been telling us that he's your son.
See, I was felt you said your mother couldn't
He's
stand
your
you in Chasen,
son.
so she can't stand you here either.
I was
You know,
surprised because
Well, that was kind of an interesting vibe that you never really knew if the mother had
really denied him or had been
really
forced to.
liked him or not, you know?
I can tell you she hated him.
My son is dead. I have no son.
Hard to believe she was married to Dean Jones at one point.
Stay back, stay back.
Put the gun down, son. Nobody means you any harm.
I suppose that's what you said to Father Carney before you killed him.
Father Carney had a heart.
Is this the first time?
Right.
Yeah.
You're his replacement.
You're upset. You're confused. You don't know what you're saying. Let me have the gun.
Hey, you can cut the phony father routine right now, Padre. I'm not buying.
Oh my God.
Oh, Tommy.
What are you out of your mind?
You're all in this together, aren't you? Every one of you got to my mother. You got to Father Carney. The police. How far does this go?
Completely guessing at the tone.
I love it though. I think this stuff really works.
Everyone ever.
Well, it may, you know. I mean, we're not really truly watching
Right,
it. You know, we're not
right,
truly
right,
in it, so
right.
you don't know if it's.
Right, I think
so
it's a
it's
good-
kind of like watching isolated scenes.
And I also
of-
love here because there was some talk about it that you fire only that shot,
Get over here. Come here.
which I think is much more real for a guy who's not used to shooting at people. A gun goes off in a room that size. You shoot once over someone's head.
Yeah.
Which I found pretty real. And see, this was where we didn't have you going down the stairs. But miraculously, you do arrive outside.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, well, so,
Works better.
Yeah, fine. You don't.
Right.
No, that's not a.
Now you're good with the gun.
Now he's got his together.
now you're really
I know what I'm
shooting
doing
just
now. Yeah.
this is
I've
fun.
seen this
Let's
on
see.
TV. What if I shoot the tires out?
You can tell your friends. They can't take it all. They can't take everything. They might get to everyone I ever met. But they won't get to me.
You feel the balance there, don't you? Oh, I actually remember having fun doing a little bit of driving here.
First time the word.
Oh, this is a cool location and cool use of lenses. And
You know,
stuff.
this shot, Peter and I were talking about this earlier, is everyone said, well, you're not going to let this whole shot run. You're going to cut into it, right? And shorten it. I went, nope. And it also, this sequence was one of the first cut because I remember I had to start cutting right behind camera because
Right.
the delivery
Sure,
date
yeah.
was so close. And I think Andy, our editor, was working on the desert sequence, the crossroads at least. And it was slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. And I think this shot,
Yeah.
and it plays, at least in the other cut. I'm not sure about this cut, but in the other cut,
In your home cut,
in my home cut, in the home theater version, the producer's cut. But
4-hour version.
we played again instead of holding the shot. Was all this stuff happening on the radio, this montage.
Right, yeah.
And LaVie and Rose comes back, and the ball game, and then Heather's laugh, or you don't know that that's who it is, and it's great. It was great just to not do it. Let that shot play. Make
Well, look
you
at it,
sit
man. It
there.
comes in a big, you know.
Right,
big
but
tight
people
shot. It's
thought,
great.
well, if you cut in earlier, you would have ended the shot, though, in a why?
Yeah, it's nice.
But you say, no, you want people to sit here. It's part of building the tension.
We got so, look at the clouds, got so lucky with the weather.
Yeah.
Because it looks like the Midwest. I mean, it just looks.
I love this car. Remember, we had the big dog in this car with this guy, and the dog like loved this guy. He could barely like do his lines without this dog. And the dog's bigger than he is. It was very funny.
Oh, right, yeah.
Wendy!
See how that worked?
Right.
It plays right
Wow,
into the.
genius.
I love this guy. I love this dog. Started like putting his head on the guy's shoulder.
Where you headed?
Where you going?
That way.
Well, that's where I'm going.
And here we go. It's,
Ah, yes.
Da, 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 da.
see the dog.
That's great.
Yeah, they had to convince me that he was supposed to drive off before his line, and Peter was saying, we're never going to get that to happen. So can he just say his lines? No, it's art, it's perfect, it's brilliant, don't change a thing. But production won, as always.
I ain't got all day, mister.
Something I just dug about this guy's face. It looks so 1940s or something.
Yeah.
Good for you. You won't pass up this ride. Not too much traffic out this way.
Now Tom's kind of worried about being taken off into a.
Yeah. We're at a party, me and you, and
Yeah.
the dog.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like, he's playing,
Tell me about it.
bending over like, great
That's
dog
funny.
though, good big mastiff. Great dog. Great location, Peter. Just, I mean, it was written as a crossroads, but we actually found it. Amazing.
It's not there anymore.
It's gone, yes. There's a Denny's and a, a hill. Probably.
No more
I mean,
empty
I'm
crossroads
kidding,
in
but
this state.
Not in this hemisphere.
This is where you get to see your bump in the crane shot, but we did get those clouds, which was just too cool to pass up.
Yeah.
This is the fork in the road that Yogi Berra always talks about.
Right.
What's his line about the fork in the road?
Take it when you come to the fork in the road.
And it's like get forked or.
No.
It's great though. It's still, I mean, the idea that this pilot leaves this poor guy out in the middle of nowhere sitting there did turn out to be
Yeah,
very compelling.
Yeah, he could have gone anywhere.